welcome to Dynamite Delight, ladies and gentlemen. A very interesting show. Unfortunately, one part of the show I did not see. Well, I'll explain it when that part of the show comes up. But I can say that you probably would enjoy this show. A lot of good content was here. Was it perfect content? No, but it was good. Opening, Moxley versus Nimitz, Dolph Ziggler's brother from Hollywood, California. How can he be booked? He's booked for Hollywood, California. His brother's booked for Hollywood, Florida. That just sounds so stupid. Honestly, I think Dolph should have left a long time ago, WWE, and he could have been working with his brother, and they could have actually teamed up. That's just what I'm saying. The only reason I'm dragging this out a little bit because this is taking longer than the match itself because he was destroyed by Moxley. Annihilated. Destroyed. Done. He was made an example of. And essentially speaking, Moxley's promo was longer than the match. Pretty much saying, look, I love this sport. I'll bleed for this sport. I'll die for this sport. I don't care what it is. I'm addicted to it. Whatever this damn exploding barbed wire match is, I don't care. Give it to me. I want it. And I will get what is mine. And he did open up saying pretty much, when I wake up in the morning and I don't have my title, I feel pissed. Not those exact words, but that's how it felt for him. Not a bad opening. I'm not saying I like Nimitz or whatever he's pronounced. I'm mispronouncing Nimitz. But he was just annihilated. I feel sorry for him. But this is what we got in the opening of the show. Now, we got the Varsity Blondes versus Starks and Cage. Another destruction. Because it wasn't, what was the guy's name? I always forget his name. Garrison? There you go. It was Pillman Jr. Brian Pillman Jr. has been the ass-kicking, well, he's been ass-kicked every single match on Dynamite. Very rarely have they won. And usually he gets his butt kicked the most in any match that I've seen so far with the Varsity Blondes. Now, mind you, he's young. And I guess they really want him to understand when you're going to be in this spot, you have to learn. They're probably teaching him the right way to take bumps, getting his butt kicked, and working a promo, working a storyline. But it still doesn't look good how his ass is getting whooped every single time. It got whooped. Starks and Cage wins. And we had a Allin and Sting sighting. Very interesting cryptic video beforehand where you see a SUV driving down into the, well, you see the desert. You see a body bag. You see it unzipped. You see a Darby Allin come out of it. And then they basically proceed to whoop some ass. They're really trying to build this street fight up. And I hope it does work out. You did see Sting take a powerbomb from Cage last week. So the question's going to be, can he do more? I don't want to see Sting. Look, Sting is 63 years old, I believe. I don't want to see him get severely hurt. Okay? If he still has something in him to work a match, even if it's limited, I want to see it. This is what I want. But not to hurt himself. And I'm sure they're going to protect him, but still, for me personally, I don't want nothing to happen to him. I'm just hoping they basically book it and shoot it right. That's just me, you guys. Tell him to go low. Now, I really don't care about what's going on with Miro, Sabian, and his lovely Penelope Forbes. Look, I would... Penelope, that woman is gorgeous. If she didn't dye her hair, I would love her even with regular dark hair. Because we know she's not a blonde. I would love her. I would marry her. I would be with her for the rest of my life. You see, I'm botching because I'm thinking about sitting next to her. And she's saying, do you need anything, honey? I said, the only thing I need is you. And I'll make her real happy. Because I'll mean it. I just don't want to see Miro. I don't want to see Sabian. And I don't want to see Penelope Forbes like this. I am bored with it. For the simple reason, it's not leading anywhere. Where is this leading Miro? Nowhere. Now, the problem here is this. And I know a lot of people are not really happy what's going on with Miro. But it's understandable right now as it stands. He came in, and they got a lot of other big men like him. And they have no room for him. So they got to put him in filler matches and filler feuds. There's no other way to do it. Either that, or they're really waiting until they can start up their second channel. Well, not second channel, second brand. I don't know what they're going to call it. Dynamite's only one of the brands they're going to have. They're going to eventually have a second one on TNT. We just don't know when. So maybe they're just putting him in a holding pattern until then. That's what I think is going on here. Now, mind you, patience is important. And one of my subscribers is always saying, with Impact Wrestling, be patient. Dude, I understand patience. But we've been talking about patience for 2 freaking years with Impact Wrestling. 2 years. Patience is growing thin with them. I'm hoping they work everything out. But if they do not understand, they need to rush a little bit right now. Because for 2 years, we've been patient when it came to Tessa and everything else that went around her. It led nowhere. So now, patience is worn thin. I still believe they're going to get somewhere if they understand what they're doing. But they need to speed it up a little bit. And with Miro, it's a double-edged sword. You want to have it now because it's been long enough. You think after him being exposed on Dynamite, you think people will understand him, care about him, and do something. But if you don't put him in any feuds or something substantial, it just is like he's floating, which he is. But the problem here is you got a lot of big guys. They had to go through Archer. They had to go through Brody Lee, which unfortunately he passed away. Hopefully he's all right on his journey. But for him, he had to wait. And now with this situation where we still don't have no fans that are in major numbers, he's still going to wait until either they finally decide to give him something where there's enough room for it, or when they start that other brand on TNT, I believe, it's going to be on TNT, they'll put him there and they'll spotlight him. That's just what I'm hoping for. That's just me. You guys tell me below. Cutler versus Hager. I got to say Cutler looked pretty cool in his ring attire. He looked really cool until he took it all off and got his butt kicked by Hager. And understand, Hager didn't look that great, but he didn't look that bad either. They really haven't spotlighted Hager much because he is training again for MMA, so he's not there all the time. Well, he is there all the time. I mean, he only goes once a week. Unless they do like a whole bunch of tapings. He's there once a week, but if he's training for MMA, he's not really training in the ring like a regular pro wrestler is. So you get my point. Ring rust will happen. And he still gets tanked because he has an MMA stamina, not a regular wrestling stamina. That's the way it looks for me personally. Then Cutler gets his butt kicked. And here's the thing that I'm sure not everyone's going to be fond of and say, oh, they're biting off of something. Look, this isn't the first time that a relative came to the show, like the Bucks, their dad and their mom, and they made it a spotlight. The Bucks' dad is there. They used him. And he got his butt kicked. His face is all bloody. They threw him up against really threw him as hard as they could, gently hard, into one of the trucks they got. Their what is it called? The big rigs. There you go. And they tried to make it look as good as they can, but they got to still work with what they got. Their dad. Hopefully they did prompt them a little bit saying, look, you whack into it, slide down slow, but not too slow. He did the best he could. He's not an actor. And he's bloodied, he's on the floor, and eventually goes through an ambulance, and then they leave. So they're really trying to set up this match between MJF and Y2J and them. The question's going to be, what is added to the match other than the titles? Because I think there's got to be something added. Honestly. Whether the Bucks win or lose, there must be something added. I think there needs to be something there. I don't know what it is. I just know there needs to be something. That's just me. You guys tell me below. Now, we got Cassidy versus Paige. One, a private party versus the Hangman himself with not only TH2, but also, Reynolds and Silver. They decide throughout that match to part of the match, they came out to try and back up a Paige. That wasn't too bad. It was good to see that they're still trying to make the Dark Order not evil. And it's kind of the thing, the Dark Order is supposed to be a cult, it's supposed to be evil, but now because of Brody no longer being there and passing away, they decide to transition it to a more of a face faction. And it's understandable. It's the wisest thing to do under the circumstances. If it stayed heel, going with -1, it would look bad for television. So, the match itself. Cassidy is a very good wrestler when he's with Quinn. But I admit, he really did quite well here without Quinn. So, seeing that he can perform without a partner is actually quite good to see. In the end, I wasn't surprised that Paige won. But I was surprised to see that Money Matt decided he wanted Paige to suffer, so he decided to take out, what is the guy's name, Angel? And wipe him out and say, I'm going to make you pay. Next to you losing your money, I'm going to make Dark Order pay, your beloved Dark Order. And he starts taking out members of Dark Order. Unfortunately, I'll explain that in a few minutes. But it's good to see they're doing something in the storyline-wise, dealing with Paige and Dark Order and Money Matt. And I just missed my finger. I feel so stupid. But you get my point. Let's move on. Kenny Omega. Kenny in his playhouse setting up for the exploding barbed wire. What is that? How are they? I know Tony Schiavone said that there's going to be a barbed wire around the ring. But there's supposed to be landmines. Landmines. I don't know what to think. What the hell is that? What type of landmine are we talking about? We're talking about exploding air, which I'm thinking like, if anyone's ever seen American Gladiator, and they always had like the gauntlet and stuff like that where there was air shooting out in certain places, my guess is that is the explosion. Because I don't think they're going to use much pyro in there because it's too dangerous and someone can get burnt. Unless they really want to go that way. Because there is a danger if someone can lose their sight that way or get burnt. So my guess is they may be using air, compressed air as landmines. I don't think they'll use actual pyrotechnic in that situation. I just don't see it. I could be wrong, but you guys tell me, do you believe they're going to use actual pyrotechnic in this explosion match, or they're just going to use compressed air with something that can shoot out at them that can stick into their skin? Could be tax. I think that's dangerous too, but you never know. You guys tell me what you think. But I just seeing Kenny like that, being manic, nuts, is actually quite interesting to see. And you see Don Callis by his side, and then the one slight mistake that was made was the grinder in the back. You can see the guy in the grind. I think I got a shot of it. If not, it's all right. But you see a guy back there working using a grinder, and it was too loud. I know they wanted to make it authentic, like there's real work going on to try and make the Moxley chamber. But the thing is that people need to hear you. You gotta kind of balance out what you need to do with your audio. Look, my audio right now, and one of the subscribers didn't like how the audio was working. I didn't make the audio a bit louder on the equipment in the hope it would work. I even done it a little more this time. Hopefully it doesn't distort. But when it came to Kenny and that segment with Don as well as Marvell, it just was not right. Because that grinder was working. They should have said, hey, wait, stop working. Talk, and then say, get back to work. That's what Kenny should have done to the guy in the back. I just believe that would have been more better, and it would have gave the people at home and at the audience who's watching this something to hear, because you could barely hear him. But that's just me, guys. Tell me below. Now, the match that surprised me the most. Nia Rose versus Britt Baker. Now, you guys know me. I don't like Britt Baker's character. I just don't like it. It sucks. I know other people are enjoying it, but for me personally, I like her as a dentist more than I like her as a role model for AEW. Because, to be honest, as I've said before, and I'll say it again, being a role model of a division that is so sparse, with no storylines for any of these women, and barely being seen other than a few matches, it doesn't work for me. Seeing them on Dark, unless you sponsor the women on Dark and say, watch Dark so you can watch the women, And seeing that on AEW Dynamite they're going to defend the title makes it more interesting for people to go watch. That's what they need to start doing. Until they get this new channel, well, the new show up and running, they need to do something with these women. So they're going to have to sponsor Dark more and say, if you want to see true women's wrestling, watch AEW Dark. And on Dynamite, we will allow Shida to defend the title each and every time that she has a competitor. That's what they should be doing. That's what they should have said. But they haven't done that. They have not said it. And casual fans got to be told when they first watch the product how you should watch it. Doing research is not enough. So the match itself was actually good. I've never had a problem 100% with Britt Baker's work in the ring. She had improved. But I was surprised that this match was a lot better than it was for Britt Baker and Nia Rose. Nia Rose, look, Naya has been in the business for a while. It's obvious that she's still a bit green, but she has improved herself since she joined AEW. She has. From the first few matches she did when she was shown until now, she has improved. She's improved a little more on selling as well as giving. Britt Baker is better on selling and giving. And Rebel is Rebel. So seeing how this match ended and Nia Rose winning, I wasn't surprised. Seeing Nia Rose went all white on one was it, this side? That is not an ugly thing, but woo, that's what you get. So she's moving on in the tournament. The question is, who is she going to be facing? Is she going to be facing Rio, which I don't want to see, or Thunder Rosa, which I do want to see? Let's see how Thunder Rosa deals with a Nia Rose. That's going to be the question. Will she sell for Nia Rose? Will Nia Rose sell for her? Both of them seem to have personalities where they, not saying they don't sell, but it depends on how they sell. Do they sell little or sell a lot? That's going to be a question for me personally. Finally, the qualifying match for the Face to Revolution ladder match. Archer versus Pentagon Jr.'s brother, Phoenix. I'll say this. Phoenix, when he was in Impact Wrestling, he almost broke his freaking neck dealing with LAX. They still show it on their channel and YouTube where he tried to powerbomb, and I believe it was Ortiz, into a table and almost snapped his damn neck because he couldn't get the full rotation like he was supposed to. He's here. He's supposed to flip back. He didn't do it. He went like this, head first. That's how bad it was for Phoenix. Now, was this match good? It was good. Phoenix did a lot of activity. So did Archer. Now, Archer is a big-ass guy. And a lot of people's mind has been fixed on big-ass guys are not supposed to move really fast. That's due to the fact of what WWE has trained us to see. See other promotions doing big guys who are fast, who are agile, is a good thing. But admittedly, you want a good balance between a guy who can really go fast and do big moves in the ring compared to being strong and methodical. Sometimes you can get an off balance. Now, at this situation, in this match, it was wise for Archer to be as fast as Rey Fenix, or at least as fast as he could. He mainly overpowered me. Well, you see, I believe I got a couple of shots of Rey Fenix just chopping the hell out of his chest to try and slow him down or chop at his legs. And he could not do it. And it's Archer using his strength to his advantage. But then when you see Archer turn on the floodgates for his speed and his agility, you're kind of surprised to see that a guy that big was that fast and agile. Yeah, you did have a little bit of the snake of Jake Roberts interfering a couple of times, but this was still pretty much a clean match. And in the end, I don't know who won. Because, like I said in the very opening of this review, I couldn't see a match. And at the very end, right when there was a move about to happen, the stream stopped. So I don't know what happened. So you guys could tell me below who actually won the match. My guess is the way they were going, it would be easy to say Rey Fenix, because that would seem to be the best person to be booked like that, because I don't think they're going to put Lance Archer, if he goes into that match, he would be heavily thought of to go up against Kenny Omega. Now, it would make some sense, which I would like to see, but I think they'll probably go with a more safer bet with Rey Fenix. That's just what I think. You guys can tell me below, because I don't know. I'll have to wait several hours before I can see a repeat of it. Particularly by the time I'm finished with this, it's almost 12 o'clock. But this is just my point of view. Was this a good show? Yeah, it was a good show. I was surprised about that match with Nia Rose and Britt Baker. It was quite surprising how good it was. But that's just me. Peace.